So in this video we will be covering the next part of the poem, but before we start, let us quickly revise from where we left the last part, in which the poet said that a single ray of hope and optimism is enough to create a world without sadness and gloom. So we have to start from this line: such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep, and such are daffodils. Here, the poet is trying to tell us all the beautiful things that exist in Mother Nature, such as the sun, the moon, trees, whether they are old or they are young, they all are a source of happiness, or they are a source of life and youth, and they give us immense happiness. Now, primarily talking about the trees sprouting a shady boon, this line has been said in reference to the trees, because trees, they create a green covering, they create a shade which is a source of beauty for us as viewers and for simple sheep. Here, and a simple is an adjective which is used for sheep. It gives them, it is like a blessing for them because they get to rest in the shelter of the trees. So the beautiful thing here is the green covering, the shady boon created by the trees for the sheep. And such are daffodils with the green world they live in, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season. The next source of beauty is the daffodils, which are flowers, and the clear rills, which are the streams. They create a cooling covert. Covert is a cave. And how do they create a cooling cave? It means that the streams are very cool. The water in the streams is very cool, and in spite of the hot season that is there, these streams, they cool down the environment, and they give even the viewers an embalming effect, a cool effect, which again becomes a source of beauty for them. So this is about this. And next is the mid-forest break. The mid-forest break means that in the forest there are trees all around, and break refers to the thick mass of ferns. So in the forest also there is a thick mass of ferns on which fair musk rose blooms. The next line says, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. Again, in the forest also there is a source of beauty, which is the fair musk rose, which is again a pink color flower which blooms in the forest. Till now, the poet has told us about all the beautiful things which we find in nature. To sum up, he talks about the sun, moon, trees, how the shelter helps the sheep, the daffodils, the clear streams, how they give a cooling effect, and the mid-forest break by giving birth to the musk rose bloom. It also creates a beautiful environment around them. In the next line it says, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms we might have imagined for the mighty dead, all lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heavens brink. Now the poet again, he relates the topic from the mother nature to the human nature. And here he talks about the grandeur of the dooms. Grandeur means something which is really grand, and doom means the dead people. Now you might be thinking, how can dead people be grand? Now the grandness is created by the people who are dead because of their good deeds which they have done when they were alive. So they have created a grandness for themselves by doing good things, by having a noble nature with them, by having a beautiful heart and mind, and a hand which is always ready to help. So this is how they have created a grandeur for themselves even after being dead, and people remember them for their grandness. Now the next line says, we have imagined for the mighty dead. Now this is very interesting thing. Mighty dead, it is an oxymoron. Here, mighty means something which is very strong, and dead is lifeless, which is very weak. So, how can a dead thing be very mighty? How can this be very mighty? The dead can be mighty by the way people remember them for their good deeds. Again, it is related to the grandeur which they have created for themselves. Now, this is how, even after being dead, people they are remembered for all the good things that they have done while they were alive, and they become a source of inspiration for all of us. All lovely tales that we have heard or read. Here, the poet refers by saying that we have heard about so many people, so many kings, or so many people who have worked for their country. Now they are being remembered for the good things that they have done, and that is the grandeur which they have created for themselves. We might have heard them or we might have read them in the books, but we somehow know the kind of grandeur which they have created. An endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heaven's brink. Now, this source of inspiration, all the beautiful things which are found in nature, they are like an endless fountain of immortal drink. Fountain is something which gives us immense happiness. It is a source of life. By even looking at a fountain, we feel so happy and we feel so relaxed. So, all of these things which are beautiful, whether it is found in nature or whether it is the noble qualities of a human being, they are like an immortal drink. They are like an elixir of life, something which we should have in our life, and it is incomplete. Our life is incomplete without the presence of such beautiful things. The lovely tales which we have heard, again it means the saga of noble work, the saga of noble work which people have done when they were alive, pouring unto us from the heaven's brink. Now this means, pouring means overflowing. We are talking about an endless fountain, which means overflowing, and pouring. Okay, so heaven's brink, something, anything which comes from heaven, it is considered to be divine, it is considered to be very precious. So this kind of an immortal drink, which is happiness, which is a source of beauty for us, if it comes from heaven, it is a very precious gift. It is a very precious gift for all of us, and it is an elixir to life. It is like a very important thing, need of the hour for the people as well as the nature, whether it is in the form of trees, flowers, or in the form of good deeds of humans. So, beauty is a perennial source of motivation. Now, summing up the poem, here I have completed the explanation. Now, just to sum up the poem, I would like to throw some light on the theme of the poem, which is that beauty, it makes life more meaningful, and we are completely blessed with the objects of beauty that are around us, and we need to bond with them by having a good nature, and we need to enhance them by doing good things. So this is about the theme, and the synopsis is that those who contemplate the beauty of the earth find reserves of strength that will endure as long as life lasts. So this is a complete message and the theme which the poet wants to give us. Now let us quickly have a view of the poetic devices which are given in the poem. Now let us start with metaphor. Bower quiet is a metaphor. Now how it is a metaphor? Because it gives us an imagination of how one thing is being compared to another. Bower is a pleasant shade, and quiet means something which does not make any sound. And pleasant shade where there are full of trees, how can it be quiet? It always have a rustling in them. The leaves of the trees, they keep on moving because of the wind. So here it is a metaphor, bower quiet. The next metaphor is sweet dreams wreathing a flowery band. Okay, this is the next metaphor, and again this is a comparison that how we are wreathing a flowery band, of how we are creating a happy and a good world. Fountain of immortal drink. Fountain of immortal drink is again a metaphor. Non-alliteration, noble natures. Noble natures is an alliteration because the letter N of both the words is being repeated in a single sentence. It is being repeated, so it is an alliteration. Again, in the next part, cooling covert is an alliteration, and mighty dead here. It is an oxymoron. It is an oxymoron because two opposite words has been used together. Mighty means something which is very powerful and dead means something which is completely lifeless. So it is an oxymoron. Now there are many examples of imagery in the poem, like flowery band is an example of imagery. Imagery is something, when we read something, we immediately have an imagination of it. So it is an imagery. Flowery band is an imagery. A shady boon is an imagery. Clear rills is an imagery again. Daffodils, grandeur of the dooms, and endless fountain here again is a imagery. Okay, so symbol. Here, sheep has been given an adjective of simple. It is also an example of alliteration here again. And simple sheep means that sheep is a symbol of innocence. So we have something to get inspired from the sheep. We need to be innocent. So it is like a symbol of innocence. So it is called simple sheep. And next we have transferred epithet. Gloomy days. Wait a second. Gloomy days is an example of a transferred epithet, which means the days have been given a characteristic of gloom. How can days be sad? Days are all about the bright sunshine, the birds chirping, but now we have given it a gloomy adjective, so it becomes a transferred epithet. And unhealthy and over darkened ways is again an example of a transferred epithet. So in this poem, we have covered everything with the explanation, as well as we have covered the poetic devices. And so our next poem, A Thing of Beauty, which it is already covered, and I hope you understood it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that whenever I put a new video, you get to know it. Thanks. Bye-bye.